Hello and welcome to another movie. This time it's another one of those, direct to Netflix vid movies. Because while this one originally was pitched by companies like Universal, eventually it landed to be, a distribution completely out of Netflix. So it's basically one of their flagship stuff. This is 2018's Bird Box. Based on a book done in 2014 by an author called Josh Malerman, but I don't know much about the source material, so I don't know how much faithful this is. Directed by Suzanne Bier, who has an extensive career, but I don't know much about. To be honest, I haven't seen much of her movies.
She directed The Night Manager. I have seen that.
How is it?
It's solid stuff. It was a mini series that had Todd Hiddleston be the titular Night Manager, where he has to
Okay.
go up against Hugh Laurie playing an evil bastard.
She's still doing stuff to this very day, like the series The First Lady, so that's still cool. Much less, he's the screenplay, has been basically whatever writing credit we have. Eric Heiserer, who has quite the bad resume, if I had to be honest. The first thing he did was the 2010's Nightmare on Elm Street remake, which is bad.
God.
Then he wrote Final Destination 5, which is also bad. Then the 2011 prequel to John Carpenter's The Thing, which is also bad. Then in the 2013 movie Hours, which I haven't seen, so I don't know the quality of it. Then he wrote Lights Out, a movie that is interesting, but not particularly great, I have to say. Then the movie Arrival in 2016, which I haven't seen yet. And then this. He did also another movie in 2020, which he co-wrote with another person. But the important that we have to know is that this guy doesn't have really a good career. And I know, knowing what the movie actually is about and its quality of it, I can see why, that this fits into his type of writing. The composers are Dweebs' favorite, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross from Nine Inch Nails. And I get the idea, Dweebs, that they're not going to gain points from you, for the score of this movie, but that's just a thought.
They can call most of their efforts scores.
I still don't mind most of them anyway. But then again, I still have to see the Social Network, which includes also the score. So we'll have to see it. Anyway, we don't know the recouping because, of course, they're to Netflix, but the budget was 19.8 million, so not too long, not too much, but it has a relatively sizable cast. But we can discuss this as the movie starts. So, start your copy before the classic Netflix tutum, booming sound. In 3, 2, 1, click. So we have in the leading role Sandra Bullock, and then we had Trevante Rhodes, Jackie Weaver, John Malkovich is in this for some reason, Sarah Paulson, Rosa Salazar, Danielle McDonald. I don't recognize much Vivian Reyes, but the point also, thank goodness Jove is not here, because for his delight we start in medias res. So the premise in this movie is that it's a post-apocalyptic movie where a post-apocalyptic setting where humanity is not gone entirely, but a lot of people have died, and society has collapsed because of an accident that has happened, which we'll learn later what it is. And a few survivors, there you go, she's rough. Then the survivors have to take precautions to avoid being killed as well. Okay, Sandra Bullock, don't shout at me. Shame that Shira doesn't join us for this, because I think she might have had one or two things to say about it.
But I have a blindfold.
Fun fact, also, well, okay, we'll mention something later when it's more important. Okay, Jesus. The fun fact: the kid actress who plays the little girl, Vivienne Lyra Blair, went on to play young Leia in the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series.
Huh.
So yeah, that's our titular Bird Box.
More like a bird cage, but whatever.
Well, that's what she's taking them from the cage and putting
Oh,
them
right,
in the
right,
box.
right. Oh, so this is gonna be kind of like, what's the name? What's the name of those two recent horror movies?
The Quiet Place.
Yeah, that's it. So this is gonna be like The Quiet Place, except
There
instead
are
of sound, it's for sight.
Vision. There are some similarities, admittedly, actually, between the two. But they differentiate, in a lot of aspects. The key component is still very similar, admittedly. Also, that blindfold kind of sucks because you're still able to see some things, and as we will learn, soon enough, you need to have your vision completely shut off to be sure. Go on, Dwebs.
Well, is it not like? Is it not like? Oh no, there is a bit of wiggle room.
No, at all. Like again, that's one of the key problems with this movie. It establishes a clean rule, but then plays fast and loose with it.
So it's one of those kinds of movies.
I mean, let me check what state are they supposed to be in.
Well, they're in a pretty bad state at the minute if you have to wear blindfolds.
Ah. Okay, the plot doesn't specify it particularly, but they'll probably mention that 5 years earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's a director's playlist. Let's see, Jessica, the sister of our protagonist, she's played by Sarah Paulson.
AKA the evil psychiatrist from Glass, who was part of the Illuminati.
Mm-hmm.
Or is there some sort of sight gas?
Well, we will see, Dwebs. It's a global. The important thing is a global event. Think of something that's similar that's happening in the happening. Something that is apparently, stimulating people into committing suicide. But people are not understanding what's going on. And no, before you ask, they're not the plants. So don't panic.
Wait, it's over in Russia. You literally just heard that there's people in the
in Europe.
US that are affected by it in Europe.
Yeah, the dialogue. One thing that you notice immediately is that the dialogue in this movie is not great. A lot of exposition dump is done very poorly, and the characters do not feel natural when they talk to each other.
I mean, I have seen Arrival. That was good.
Oh, okay. Again, that's as I mentioned, it's one that I haven't seen yet. I guess I have just bad experiences from this writer. Then again, I have no idea how much pertinent is this to the original source material. So. I'm sorry if I sound kind of rude, Mallory, but if you knew you were going to have these kind of doubts, you should. I don't know the circumstances under which you're gonna have this baby, but you probably should have thought about it, especially in the early stages.
Yeah, we have stuff like next morning pill and yes.
Not even that. Even something is more, in depth and not physical, as in, psychological consultants. Talk with someone on the matter. Explain why you think it's a problem, and get to hear, what could be the best option for you. So just waiting around.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not a toy. Hey, this random guest who has no particular relevance is just fine. I wonder if that's important for later.
What is this Phil's fascination with horses?
Trust me, Dreams, it's just here for the beginning. They kind of drop metaphors for horses, after this. I know, right? First I thought, it's gonna be incorporated later for something, but no.
Oh, so
I was gonna say, I thought the way they're setting up, I thought the climax is gonna be the all ride on a horse to get out of.
So it's like the deer in Life is Strange 1.
Yeah, the look of these nurses like, yeah, seriously, don't give alcohol to a pregnant woman, please.
Yeah.
That is actually an option, it's just that, you should consider all options early stages on instead of being told like this towards the end. Take a wild guess. It's a natural procedure for someone pregnant, jeez.
Why did I find this movie a dick?
Like, it's not even playful banter between sisters. It's just, sometimes it's stating the obvious, sometimes it's just stupid. But looks like the woman who was just fine is able to break a glass with her own skull. I don't know where the fuck is the hospital supposed to be, but I can assure you, reinforced glass like that is not that fragile.
Oh.
So yeah, taking a cue from all things the World War Z movie. Now this first major part of the first bit only during the first act, it's gonna be these characters having to run around in a car while everything chaotic is happening around them.
I thought you were gonna say the 2014 Left Behind.
No, because that's happening mostly on a plane, and the character instead on the ground is on foot rather in a car. Again, the World War Z movie, I know nobody remembers anymore, but the World War Z movie, when it came out, made a bit of people talking about it. Stop with the horse.
Oh.
Oh great, a dead ringtone.
I've got a different ringtone on my phone.
And this conveniently allows her to go like that to distort her vision. and to have met to happen. These to happen.
Okay, welcome to Speed 3.
Well, we don't really have a bomb on that.
What the fuck? Did Andrew Nichol suddenly take over for this scene? Like,
I guess. I mean, it's a better car crash than the one from In Time. A bit more realistic. Also,
not by much though.
I will say this. I'm sorry, Mallory, but after a car crash like that, I wouldn't count too much on your child. Just saying.
Yeah.
We saw her have 2 kids in that flashback.
I know that Across the Spider-Verse gave this idea that a pregnant woman can do everything, but yeah. Wait for it.
The fudge.
Again, it seems that the key component is that if people observe something, they will be compelled into committing suicide afterward, and
so it's literally like in The Happening.
Yeah, like I said, it's not the plant this time; it's something else. You will still probably not like the explanation after when we give it, but it's still something more, a bit more tangible than plants emitting, chemicals.
How are the cars exploding?
Yeah, but
Hey, there's John Malkovich. You will see soon enough that John Malkovich is not giving a single shit and probably just here for a paycheck.
well, he was already at a point where he didn't give a shit on anything by the time he made Aragon. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't it Aragon?
yeah, that was 2005 if I remember correctly. So the guy hasn't been giving a shit for a while now too. I suffer without my stone. Do not
Now she's getting
prolong.
into a burning car.
Yeah, there are better ways to commit society,
I guess it's safe if you look through windows. Oh, no, it isn't, because that woman literally bashed her head against the window earlier.
Yeah. John, can you do another take?
No.
Also, let me check. There you go. The other guy that we saw from before but claimed to be the owner of the house, I think it's that Speedy Wong.
Okay, I swear, I can't remember seeing any film with John Malkovich in where he was past his I don't give a shit anymore phrase.
Let me check what he did recently between Aragon and this one.
All circuits are busy. Try again later.
Okay, apparently voiced a character in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare in 2015. Good to know.
Activision are mega rich.
We had Kevin Spacey being the main antagonist at one point. Oh wait, he was in Zoolander too. Okay. Also in the Penguins of Madagascar movie. There's the horse.
There's the payoff, I guess.
Yeah, like he said, after this, the horse symbology doesn't really come up anymore. I mean, besides... And yes, Pedro, that's Machine Gun Kelly!
What?
I have no idea what is he doing here. In case you don't know, Machine Gun Kelly stands for the 2010s, roughly, how Vanilla Ice was for the 90s. Basically, rich white guy who tried to have a rapping career and occasionally tried to be a movie star.
Well, the only thing I've seen Machine Gun Kelly in is when he got power bombed off the stage by Kevin Owens in a WWE show.
Hilarious. Yeah, this guy got the right idea. Let me check.
All circus are still busy.
Tom is paid by Trevante
Didn't you hear
Rose.
me? It's busy. Oh,
Trevante Rose, who, let me check. I haven't seen much of his rest of his filmography, but has been doing stuff.
wait, are you sure this isn't Left Behind? Because he's talking about the
Rapture.
apocalypse.
Well, again, it has a similar vibe to that.
Yeah, it also feels very happening-ish.
Especially because of the idea of this threat being invisible, but people still able to perceive it. This guy thinks we're demons. That's not as clever as you think it is.
Nope.
You know, I'm beginning to think there's a good reason why no studio would go near this other than Netflix.
Yeah. Again, it's what I think it's a case where, in a premise on paper, can sound interesting, but the moment you start trying to think about it for more than 5 minutes, you see how it can disaggregate a bit like a castle of cards and needs some serious alteration.
Another thing.
Again, with like I said, this is, I don't know how much pertinent is to the original book. So for all I know, the book is a masterpiece compared to this.
Another thing that this movie has in common with an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yes, Sandra, keep getting red like you actually believe it.
Yes.
Yeah, based on recent news and allegations, I wonder how Sandra Bullock feels about being in what was that for? The one she won an Academy Award.
Six hours. And yes, in case you're wondering, yes, the movie will flip-flop between the present and the events of the past, even though we don't really need it. Like we could have spared all of the blocks of what's happening on the river later and just have that bit of introduction and then moving on to the past. Like these sequences interspersed in between have no place to be here, admittedly. Also, for my favorite bit, yes, it's another post-apocalyptic world where a single parent has to learn about being an actual parent with children. My favorite. Okay, I'm exaggerating a bit, but it's more of a case of oversaturation than anything.
Goodbye.
It's a walkie-talkie, not a phone lives. Uh-oh, the birds are steering.
Is that the warning sound?
Yes. The teacher or bird box is essentially a device that people can use to potentially track down this mysterious thing that is actually, causing people to commit suicide. Again, like since it's a lot of fictional media loves to have the animals like dogs or birds being able to predict supernatural events because there is some minor truth in television. A lot of animals are able to not predict but roughly guess when something like an earthquake or a tempest are actually about to arrive. Thanks, Aunt May. Oh.
Yes.
It's Sandra Bullock with a shotgun.
Also, why is he looking like he's ooh?
Soy face.
Man, this dialogue.
Yeah, I know, Machine Gun Kelly, don't worry.
If I didn't know any better, I would swear this is an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Let me check the production in the meantime to see how many people post these stars behind. Film rights of Bird Box were optioned by Universal Pictures in 2013. Scott Stuber and Chris Morgan were set to produce the film, with Andy Muschietti attached as director. Eric Kaiser was negotiating for the script in July 2017 after Stuber became head of feature film division of Netflix. It was announced that Netflix had acquired the rights, with Sandra Bullock and John Malkovich. Casting of Van Beer was announced as a director. Why are you wasting bullets like that? Let me check who is played Olympia by. Danielle MacDonald. Australian actually as an actress, okay. She's done a lot of stuff, but once again I don't recognize much of her career. John, just think of a paycheck. Come on.
That's what he's doing. That's what he does nowadays too.
BD Wong's character's idea is to use the cameras to actually monitor the system, and that should be enough for people to not be infected by whatever this thing is.
How long were they living there?
They've been that not much, just a couple of days at this point. Okay.
So was he gonna?
Like I said, he's watching the camera feeds to test if we can actually monitor the area without going, going suicidal. Wow.
Charming fellow. No. The screechy music of doom.
Mm-hmm. Brought to you by the composers of Soul.
Was their synthesizer broke?
Sorry?
The composers was their sound system broke from the sound?
No.
Effects? Bird Box.
Watch someone watching cameras.
If I wanted that, I'd play that Mega CD game.
For reference, this goes at 51% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I think it's roughly a good estimation. Like, it's not the worst thing ever, and probably not the worst on their, Netflix exclusive property, but I've seen better.
What was that? What was the name of that? What was
Actually,
the name
no,
of that Mega?
No, I got confused with another movie. Sorry, go on, Waves, in the meantime.
What was the name of that Mega CD game where you did nothing but go back and forth through security camera footage?
Night Trap.
That Night Trap.
Unfortunately, watching through cameras doesn't do the trick. You still become suicidal. Anyway, this first movie, the Rotten Tomatoes approve, the percentage is 63%. According to Nielsen, Bird Box was watched by nearly 26 million viewers in its first 7 days. I think it was word of mouth that allowed people to, be curious to see this, but again, it kind of came and went.
I can imagine.
And yeah, that's BD Wong out of a movie. I guess he got a smaller paycheck than John Malkovich.
What year did this one come out?
2018.
2018, so around the same time of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, yes.
I guess he could only film that one bit. You barely known him.
Yeah.
So yeah, the cameras don't work.
Well, they do work, but they do not shield you from seeing whatever the hell causes this.
It's just gonna end up being like 1,000 words where what you can and can't do is just completely
Random? Not exactly.
and contradicts a lot of what goes on before it.
Technically, no. The fault in the contradicting the rules waves is more on prop authenticity. The characters are ideally supposed to be in situations where in universe they are not supposed to see anything, and they keep claiming that, so the story is supposed to go that way. But the way the props are constructed, you can clearly tell that they should be able to see something still. Also, this.
Ah.
Yeah. Oh, ominous. We interrupted something. Yeah.
Yep.
I know, right? A machine gun Kelly having sex. How can you delete that from your brain?
Is that the movie's comedy moment?
I guess.
Yeah, this is a rather bleak story, but it has to try a few, light-hearted moments, in this kind of way it lives. And now we're back to the present, for no reason. Again, Joe would have probably hated a movie like this, for this 14 hours on the Viva.
I mean, doesn't Ace Attorney do that a lot? Flip back and forth between orders, between case order?
It would be, that is more of a case of, that is more of in a sense of entire cases would be structured to be, before or after, rather than starting in medias res, then having, a case in which interest processes are seen of the first case or something, and it hasn't continued there.
Usually an Ace Attorney case will be just its own story in its own time, place, and that's it. Like the narrative.
And then towards the end, you get the idea on how things are connected in which order.
I mean, usually the worst, like Ace Attorney 3. Ace Attorney 3 literally starts in the past where we play as Mia, But that's just for that one case. After that, case number 2 is entirely with Phoenix. So it's not really the same thing as what this movie's doing.
And case, I think, 4, case 4 is still with Mia and it's before case 1. But again, those things are completely separated from each chapter. The problem would be with if in the middle of a chapter we have an entire sequence where we play something from the past. No, I do not.
So basically,
play-by.
It's the same. It's the reason why a lot of people have problems with the story structure of The Last of Us Part 2, because here we are at the confrontation between Abby and Ellie, and boom, let's skip to 3 days earlier. And the next 10 hours is spent catching up to what Abby has been doing up until this point.
I guess nobody really learned. I guess nobody really learned from after All-Star Batman and Robin.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Frank Miller is that Frank Miller has little to no perception of how time works, based on his narration boxes. So. Get this, in All-Star Batman and Robin, we have something like 24 hours ago, and then within that 24 hours ago flashback, we have a 5 minutes later. Wait, you mean 5 minutes later in
relation to what?
To what exactly?
So yeah, since now the house doesn't have much food left, they have to come up with an idea.
Basically.
Charlie is played by Lil Ray Howery. Let me check where else he's been. Oh, his first role was in Get Out. Also, he was in the Angry Birds movie too. The 2021 Tom and Jerry movie, for some reason. A cameo in Space Jam: A New Legacy. Okay.
Man, this guy really needs to get a better agent.
Well, Pedro, he was also in Luck in 2022.
Again, this guy needs to get himself a better agent.
Well, we maybe be later for that because he's gonna be also in the Paw Patrol movie and Good Burger 2 this year.
Again, I think I've made my point, but
why Good Burger 2?
I don't know, actually, I don't know, Dweebs.
Not to. I mean, Luck wasn't bad. It was just mediocre.
Also, this is what I was talking about. They covered the entirety of the car with paint and and paper from the inside in order to not see, and they're relying on the GPS. But as you can see, there's still light coming out of it in some kind of fashion. So there should be minor pieces that are not covered properly as a result.
Okay, if it turns out even looking at GPSs can cause your mind to go...
Thankfully, it doesn't seem to be. Though it does give an interesting way to do the scare. And no, of course we don't get to see the head being crushed by the wheel. It's still an empty production after all.
We can't afford it.
Yeah.
Like we can barely afford John Malkovich eats up the rest of our budgets.
Yeah, those sensors. Again, if you drive a new car, you will get to know the modern cars tend to have this kind of sensory system that allows you to park better. So if you have an obstacle, they tell you how far it is in relation to that. So they use this for the scare. Uh-oh.
Is that an elephant?
No.
No, it's a horse.
John Malkovich's face. John, come on, man. Just for one take, can you act?
No. He has long swore off acting for a while now too.
How is he still in movies?
Because Dwebs his name, because people still recognize his name, so it's the people want to exploit what little star power he may still have.
Ah.
It's like watching a blindfold match in wrestling. AKA the matches where the most fun you'll get is seeing the heel cheat in it.
Cute.
But there's still that bright light behind
Yeah.
you.
It's a
It's like
fucking
it's-
supermarket.
It's like in Getaway, where there was that scene where they're supposed to act like all the power's gone out, yet you can still see the street lights and lights on in the buildings. And I think that fell with a bit of a lesser budget than this. And that was released by a movie studio that was actually bothered to take it on, Warner Brothers.
Sorry, John, I don't really have alcohol for today. In case wasn't evident before, yes, the movie is actively trying to ship these two.
Let me guess, considering we don't see the sky in the flash forward bits.
That's what we have to see.
Welcome to the most bleak episode of Supermarket Sweep ever.
Never heard of that show.
Basically, it's a game show where the end game is to go around the supermarket, picking up items, and whoever has the highest total pound value is the winner.
Excellent.
The prize is to be able to get home everything you bought.
Well, there's also a main bigger prize of cash.
Yeah,
that sounds like a game show version of Akira Tago's puzzles.
Kinda. If anything, it would remind me more. Well, okay, not clearly, but it would be relatively similar to one of those standalone mini games during the early stages of Takeshi's Castle. It just lacks
Hey,
a
now-
bit of extra punch in terms of punishment.
Well, hey, now we know. Now we know what Leighton did after his main series of games ended. Welcome to Herschel Leighton's Supermarket Sweep.
Oh no.
I hate my life.
But didn't he recently get it back his career?
No, I'm talking about what happened in between.
Yeah, Sandra Bullock feels a disturbance in the force of some kind.
Indeed.
Hello Kitty? It was that, yeah, that's what
The actual
caused
birds.
it. Hello Kitty did it.
That's how they got the birds. They were here in the supermarket. Man, surprised they managed to survive so far.
We're birds.
Bird up.
Sandra, we're rolling. You can talk to the birds later.
Oh, this. Oh, man. John. Cut to two people of color of the cast. Bravo movie. Fucking Oscar worthy.
Brilliant.
For the record, when he described this scene to Dej, he exploded. Like, he had no idea what to think. Speak for yourself, Sandra. John Malkovich established, just now.
Knocking on the door.
Oh my god, there's a banging in the door. Again with this shit. Don't give John Malkovich the shotgun, he's clearly drunk. Like... And I cannot guarantee that it's just, in-universe. Yeah, the birds are not... Uh-oh. So Charlie has to take a decision. Uh-oh. And Charlie is gone. But yeah, thanks to this accident, they also learned how the fact that the birds are steering, whatever the hell is causing this, it's approaching.
I don't care.
I'm John Malkovich. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, they don't pay me enough to care.
God damn.
I'm alive and he isn't.
This dialogue.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the thing. Yeah, the wonder Malkovich isn't putting in much effort. This dialogue is.
This script is really hard to work with in general. Like I said, terrible exposition and clunky dialogue that doesn't feel natural for the characters.
Is this going to be his character? He gets drunk.
I mean, that's relatable in some kind of way, but that doesn't make me like him still. But also, why do you give... Yeah, I'm guessing that's... Is that whiskey?
Yeah.
Why do you give super alcoholics to a pregnant woman? Jeez. Between the constant falling and this, like, the poor child, what's gonna come out though with, like...
Trying to think. I take it, Theo, you don't work in the maternity ward?
No. I mean, by you know, laws of probability, there a possibility that I might. Also, yes, Machine Gun Kelly decides he wants to quit the movie halfway through with his new girlfriend. I don't blame him, I guess.
They just drove off with it!
You heard the sound!
Did you not hear it leave?
To be fair, he is drunk, so I guess that maybe that becomes because of that, but still.
Maybe they heard this music and wanted to flee before...
Please trust me, it's not yet at its worst. 24 hours on the river. Like, again, so far the story is relatively fine to me, not really that bad. It's later becomes unbearable. Also, yeah, unfortunately I have to say the child actors are kind of very bad. Again, I'm more blaming the filmmakers into, you know, picking these two and not directing them well. Ow. God damn it. And he lost his backpack. Sandra! Not in front of the children.
Who's having a concert?
No one.
It sounds like someone's a post-apocalyptic concert, anyway. Someone's gonna leave the boat, aren't they?
That's what we had to see. That's basically, she heard these, wind charm flute, whatever it's called. Those things that actually produce a tingling sound when they're, carried by the wind.
Yeah.
So she's investigating to see if there's even activity around. Well, in this case, more, wood, bamboo. Knock, knock. Knuckles.
Could you imagine? Yeah, Sandra Bullock playing a female relative of Knuckles.
No, she plays Rouge the Bat instead.
I think she, by this point, she's a bit too old to play Rouge.
I mean, it would be fit with how the
voicing,
character
I mean.
was voiced for a while.
Yeah, I seriously doubt they're going to go back to that.
Unfortunately, no real sign of human activity.
I can imagine they'll probably get Scarlett Johansson to play Rouge. That would be a good fit.
Just hope she doesn't do it like she did Car.
Uh-oh. End of a rope. But at least she can get something useful like blankets. And potentially food.
I'm bored.
God damn it!
Is this film just a test on how much silly, stupid stuff you can handle in one movie?
I've seen worse on that front, waves, but these movies do not doing any favors on the man on that.
That's another thing in common.
Sandra Bullock with a gun.
Well, we've seen that. She's actually done that in plenty of movies in the past, so it's not really that much of a...
Uh-oh. Also, stock door opening sound effect. God damn.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you run like that while holding the rope,
Yes, Tia?
if you run like that, you're gonna burn your hand.
I notice how they don't refer to her as Mom.
You will see later how weird, bizarre their family mechanic is actually handled. God damn it, child.
You had one job. Are they gonna take her voice?
seriously.
Apparently not.
Sandra, stick on the script.
I mean, it's true. She told them to do something and they did it. And please don't say, but they're kids. That excuse is bullshit anyway.
It's more the
it's a terrifying situation.
It's more the fact how cheap, child characters are used, particularly in this post-apocalyptic horror setting. The more recent Evil Dead movie also suffers from this.
But don't you see, Dwebs, Daniel threatening Sean is totally okay because he's a kid.
Sean.
You know, when me and my brother were growing up, the worst we did to each other is play pranks.
And yeah, Tom's entire character is that he's the nice guy. And I don't mean, technically in a derogatory way like Neil Patrick Harris was in Gone Girl. But that's basically just what he is. He's just a nice guy. There's that. Nothing more. It's essentially just, the character Sandra Bullock has to fall in love with eventually because he's just nice. Like designated love interest.
He's literally the nice guy trope.
Again, like I said, technically nothing wrong in itself, but it's basically average. Like milk toast cereal.
Be a really long distance to school.
Yeah. $28 on the lever. See what I mean? Interspersing the past and the present like that, it's plot interrupting a bit too much. Like I said, we should have just a bit of a beginning, then the entirety of what happens in the past, and then the last act being reprising on what's happening here on the river. It really is not doing the movie any favors. One at a time. Simpleton. Played by Tom Hollander, not to be confused with Tom Holland.
Tom Hollander, I know that name.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Where is he from?
UK.
Well, okay, but from which movies?
Yeah, I'm just checking. The ones that I recognize, he was in Gosford Park in 2001. Pride and Prejudice.
He was in the Pirates of the Caribbean films as Cutler Beckett.
Ah, okay.
Oh, the Commodore, I think.
Yep. Well, not Commodore. Like I think.
Yeah, isn't that Elizabeth's father?
No. His character. Beckett is the name of that British arsehole who.
The British asshole in the sequels too.
Oh,
2 and 3.
okay.
2 and 3 specifically.
Okay. The guy that dies in the explosion. Okay.
Yep.
Also, he was in. Wow, talk about typecasting. He was also in Elizabeth the Golden Age. The 1 year
He's also
after.
in The King's Man.
Mm-hmm. Also in
He
Muppets
played
was.
George V, Wilhelm II, and Nicholas II.
Also in Muppets was Wanted and Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. Again, this guy's been in all stuff. More recently, has been in The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, which, if I recall correctly, was the short that won an Oscar for Best Animated Short. I haven't seen it yet. Oh, he also voices Alfred in the Harley Quinn series. So yeah, it seems that not everyone is affected equally. Some people just become agents of chaos. John. Why do you even to enunciate each syllable, John? Ow. Thanks, Aunt May.
I hope you didn't leave a gun there at least.
I wonder what's gonna happen. Like, she already has trouble having to think about taking care of her own baby. Oh. Hello Kitty prop.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what's gonna happen.
Clearly. Hopefully nothing bad will happen to it.
$38,000 delivered. Why?
Because.
Yeah. And that's the end of the scene. Okay.
All right then.
I swear I've heard this song before.
Yeah, it's. I think it was in Greece.
So where did they film this movie? Let's have a look.
Have a look. Uh-oh, it's time.
Smith River, California, all across California states.
John, is your stickler just that face?
Is he pissing?
No, she's she's break. She has her water breaking. Yeah, it's time for her to. What a coincidence! Both of the pregnant women are having, you know, their final stages of pregnancy at the same time.
I mean, it's not. I get that this is not impossible. It's just very convenient for.
It's, yeah, for the sake of the plot, it really feels convenient. Poor woman.
I wonder how it actually works in maternity wards if you have to deal with two pregnant women next to each other at the same time.
Well, it's not technically. It's more of a case of it's entirely dedicated to that waves, so chances are it's not just one. Hence why, not as much as ER, but you know, it requires a lot of hyperactivity from the personnel. Hence why, normally competent workplaces should just switch between personnel regularly, even though they don't. But whatever.
Also, nice piano music you got playing in the background while this is going on.
We're gonna have one of those tense moments, you know, where there's quiet music in the background, because it seems that this guy has drawn some pictures. First one done. Instead, it's a boy.
What are you doing with the cage? No.
Don't put the birds in the freezer. Unfortunately, John Malkovich was kind of right in being suspicious. This guy is one of those agents of chaos.
They just love that show where the arsehole is right. And then we guess the birds are dead. Oh, no.
No, we have seen them in the present, so we know they survive. Ow.
Oh.
Also, shouldn't there be a button inside the garage to close the door for internally?
I'm pretty sure.
Well, I mean, he could just press the button again, can't he?
Well, no, John Malkovich apparently can't, because apparently there's nothing inside where he can do that. It's just weird. And Olympia's child is a girl, obviously.
All right then.
Broop. Wait for it. She even does a flip. I haven't checked yet, though. Let me see who Cheryl is played by. Jackie Weaver.
So, shit.
Ow. She also has an extensive career, but I don't recognize anything. Very extensive career, damn.
So gonna shoot Santa Bullet by accident, is he?
Hold on, wait for it.
And I guess he's going to stab Malkovich's character to death.
And that's John Malkovich out of a movie.
That's his best acting in the movie.
How ironic, John Malkovich out of a whole house of the characters who die is the one that doesn't get to see the invisible demons.
Yeah, this is a part of the house that's still unaffected.
Mm-hmm. And Tom was just knocked out beforehand, so hopefully he should be able to get the shotgun in time.
Yeah. Hey, kids, let's play tug of war.
With a shotgun, I'm sure nothing bad will happen. And yeah, this is actually the most annoying part of the score, admittedly.
I think I know how they did this song. They recorded Nest of Wasps and put that through a synthesizer.
So yeah, Gary was killed off screen with and Tom
Okay.
and Tom and Sandra Bullock are the only two survivors.
Alright, I'll be fair. I mean, we did at least see them have the tug of war and that.
It's the thing. It's the fact that the movie plays out and tells you, "Oh, did Tom actually die or not?" It's like, come on. And yeah, being the only survivors means that they get to grow out the children alone with enough food, and we skip 5 years later.
Yeah, because I'm sure nothing interesting happened in that time.
Apparently, nothing really happened in 5 years. No idea why they did that. You know what this also means, Dweebs.
What?
Since Machine Gun Kelly and his girlfriend managed to get away and we don't get to see, them dying technically, if they make a direct more sequel to this or a proper spin-off, they can show up.
Alright.
Maybe. Hey, what's with you driving? Are you blind? Oh, wait, yeah, we are. Yeah, oh, wait, yeah, we are in this world. Because we have to be, otherwise, maybe it's because I'm watching it off a Netflix digital download, but I can only watch the movie in either English or Polish.
Interesting choices. I haven't checked how does it sound in my country's dub, so I cannot tell.
Maybe they got used to it.
It's like more again, Agents of Chaos, like Gary mentioned. The people were apparently like already crazy or something and got infected in a way where they do not compare to kill themselves but to expose others to the site. And yeah, again, considering 5 years have passed, I get it. Since now they practically have to live alone with the kids, I get it would be make more sense of them eventually falling in love. It was just the way we were trying to foreshadow it in the early stages was a bit clunky. Oh, looks like someone is trying to contact them. Hello, hello. You can do that without putting your pants on. Tom has this thing of trusting people blind, in sort of a blind faith. I know irony, but still.
Take a shit. And what do you mean take a what? Could you repeat that last bit?
God damn it. Fucking reception.
Rick.
So yeah, it looks like they're, they are a bit pressured.
Speaking of the musical score of the movie, Trent Reznor had some things to say about how the score was implemented into the movie.
Go on.
He accused what he felt were lazy sound mixers and editors of ruining their score, calling it a fucking waste of time.
Wow.
It would take almost a year following this for the two to make their own definitive version of it that got 13 additional tracks. This is what he's quoted as saying. When we got immersed in it, it felt like some people were phoning it in. And you're stuck with a film editor who had real bad taste. That's kind of our barricade to getting stuff in the film. And the finalising of the shit cake was when we were on tour when they mixed it. And they mixed the music so low you couldn't hear it anyway. So it was like that was a that was a fucking waste of time. Then we thought no one's ever going to see this fucking movie, and of course it's the hugest movie ever in Netflix. And besides, later on he said he scored the movie for the paycheck anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 5 years and they did not give the children name.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? Everyone who has seen this movie has the same reaction because that's so bullshit. Like, it put into perspective. Like, let's think if it's just Sandra Bullock's decision or anything. Tom has no say in the matter. He could not contribute in giving them names. What is wrong with you?
I don't... What? So what do they call them? Child 1 and Child 2?
No, they call them, they do that the God of War way, Pedro. Boy and girl.
Boy and... Okay.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay.
Look, if it was a thing also in the book is equally guilty. I think it's a problem on a narrative.
Okay, Mr. Script... What's his name again? The script writer?
The guy
Eric
who wrote
Harris,
yeah.
Yeah, Eric. Here's how it goes, right? When Cory Barlow did this in God of War 2018, he did it for a reason. Okay, it was a verbal exemplification of the fact that Kratos and Atreus at the time still had a bit of a distant relationship, and by the end, and especially when you get to Ragnarok, that whole boy thing is completely gone. That's it. That's what we call writer's intent. Okay, you on the other hand, you just call these two boy and girl for what seems to be no reason.
I'm trying to demonstrate that Sandra Bullock is not good at being a mother. Like, what an asshole.
Also, people mocked the shit out of Tenet when that film did it as well.
I haven't
Well,
seen yet Tenet.
Protagonist.
The main protagonist's name is just called Protagonist.
He's just called Protagonist.
I mean, okay, go on.
But that's the thing. Tenet is a different kind of movie than this. Like, but I don't really want to get into another rant about this.
Also, Drives, you're speaking with someone who really did not add as much of a problem as the rest of you with the deleting the water being cold story.
Oh, I don't... see, here's the thing. It's not that I have a problem with it necessarily. It's more so that it's on the nose. And it's just like...
Sure.
Like if Lydia in the Water just stuck to being an analogy for for storytelling, that would have been fine. But of course, M. Night Shyamalan had to basically put in a character specifically for the purpose of representing his critics, and it's just like so. Not to mention,
like Roland Emmerich in Godzilla.
not to mention casting himself as the fabled
who saved the world.
Yeah,
and die.
Yeah. Like it's kind of like when you put shit like this in your movie. I mean, it's kind. I mean, can you you're basically begging people to hate your movie, basically.
I think a better reason also is the fact that instead of already a location or a studio, he had to build a fucking condo because he wanted to film in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he said build a condom, and it's like, wait, what?
My country is more used to that term because it's derived from Latin condominium. Shit. I wonder what's gonna happen to Tom. Go!
I've seen that guy before.
I don't know about them. They're basically just here for this scene, basic glorified extras. Also, again with this shit, it's the generic tense music of 2010s, Hollywood movies. Again, just like in World War Z. What is the obsession with all these composers, Marco Beltrami, Brian Tyler, and now this, for this drumming noise?
Yeah.
And look at that, Tom is sacrificing his chance so he can kill all of these agents of chaos.
Is that literally their names, the Agents of Chaos?
That's the one that I took, but it's the best to describe them. And unfortunately, he gets to witness. I think this is a good moment since we're towards the end to mention that originally these creatures, whoever is causing this, because the movie technically confirms that they're actual demons who are doing this. We don't know where they come from, but they're still technically something more tangible we just don't see. We're supposed to have a physical appearance. And then people saw what the practical effect was supposed to look like, and were like, "Yeah, let's just keep them invisible, shall we?" There are photos on the internet. If you can look them up just to see for yourself what a travesty that was.
It's like when all these weird things of studios see something but they think it looks shit, so they tell them to not show it. It's like when Fox were displeased in Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer at how Doctor Doom's ruined face makeup looked, and they told them cover it over.
And put him in the shadows.
Even though we know and then just have him regain his look
regular appearance, yeah. So yeah, now we're basically about to catch up. Now it's just Sandra Bullock with boy and girl. I can't believe this. Suddenly, studios not wanting to pick this up makes a bit more sense, don't it?
Yeah.
We're talking about T. I love films like that. Like my favorite movie has the with the greatest lead character ever, husband. And
excuse me, Dweebs. The term was technically handsome man.
Yeah. Or wife in Lost in Space.
Hello.
Yeah.
To be fair, no, she did have a name. It's just that they never pronounced it that much.
I'll be honest though, I wasn't a huge fan of this other movie where the main character was annoying brats.
And there you go. That's basically we're catching up to where they went to the river. See what I mean? We could have just done all of the scenes in the river after this point. It would have been fine. Why did we have to have interspersed in between the flashbacks?
I have no clue. I felt like...
I think there is an art in telling a story out of order.
Oh, yeah.
But it's really easy to fuck up. So if you don't have that much of a confidence, you probably should not do it.
Here's the basic gist of it, okay? If you're going to tell a story in non-chronological order... there has to be a reason for it, because stories have been told in chronological order for a good reason, because it makes them easier to follow. It makes it a lot easier to accept character development when you're seeing it from beginning to end, right? Mm-hmm. When it's something like Memento, okay? In Memento, Christopher Nolan had a good reason for why the movie's told backwards, okay? The idea was to put you in the shoes of the protagonist who has anterograde amnesia, as in short-term memory loss, to use a more common term. And because of the non-linear structure, we, the audience, were receiving information in bits, and we were just as in the dark as the main character. We were... so when Christopher Nolan does that, there's a reason for it. Same thing with Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction has a reason for it. In this movie, on the other hand, again, it's like Beyond Two Souls. The problem, Beyond Two Souls is probably the worst. Although Beyond Two Souls is the worst structured than this, to be fair, because Beyond Two Souls is literally just random. Like the order of the scenes presented is literally random. There's no reason, and the only explanation the game gives is, if I'm going to remember what happened, I might as well start here. Might as well. Like you're basically admitting to me that you just randomized the timeline of the game, and there you go.
I don't even think it's in the I thought for a while that maybe the explanation was it's the importance of each scene, as Elliot Page's character, is remembering them, but no, not even that. And they fucked up.
Well, and they died. Okay, and that was Bird Box, ladies and gentlemen. Kind of a dark ending, yeah.
I cannot even say what a short movie because we're 100 minutes in.
Did I miss anything?
They fucked up, dweebs. Despite being said, we're gonna have to be careful. One of you is gonna have to take a look. They still fucked up and got into the bolted up.
Wow, shit. Girl, boy.
I'm sorry. Am I meant to take that seriously?
Apparently. Like I said, if it was like this also in the book, I hope there was a damn good explanation and something that's very convincing, because as the way it's presented here, I ain't buying it.
Like, it's like...
Did you even hear about this movie?
It was more of a buzz when it came out, Dweebs, but to be fair, that was 5 years ago by the time we're commenting on this.
It's because, like, it sounds silly. Because, like, there's no possible context to justify this decision. Like,
again, the closest is supposed to be that Sandra Bullock's character is not good at being a mother, but it's very stupid.
No,
there are better ways to convey that than not being able to name 2 fucking children.
Any random person can name children. That's not a hard thing to do. Just
you can come up with very basic name like Todd or Anne.
It's literally like, no, this.
You got a hint from the woman who gave birth to the girl. She literally gave you a hint of what their child name would have been, and she literally entrusted you with her child. Maybe you should have respected her wishes. Just saying.
This may come across as nitpicking, but you have to understand that moment where she was like, boy, girl, like, it sounds silly. Like the way the movie portrays this, it just comes across as silly. And it takes you out of the seriousness that the movie's trying to convey.
So yeah, now we just have to hope for the best as we try to reach the place that Rick told them over to the walkie-talkie.
Hey, I said they try and take the voices of people she knew. I called it.
Mm-hmm. Bomb. And now it's a comedy of error, a pratfall.
Whee!
Hilarious.
Well, fuck.
Now what are we gonna do?
And now, at last, she's hearing her sister's voice. Also, John Malkovich's character, for some reason. Like, demons, why would you want to tempt her with an asshole?
Boy, girl, boy.
Like, you might as well call the characters Child 1 and Child 2. Like, wow.
Okay, I haven't seen it, and I don't know if you two have, because I kept hearing it about, there's a series called Boy Meets World, but I'm curious, I don't think the character is actually called Boy, right? These children are not really good at acting.
I'm sorry, I can't take this seriously.
I don't know, positive news, the movie's almost over. There's Boy.
It'd be so funny if a different girl shows up.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we need to incorporate it. Apparently, the moral is that Sandra Bullock, in order to become a good mother, was supposed to, to say that, even though her point was not exactly that far out, But no, it is one of those kind of movies that scolds the main character for having that kind of idea, and by the end they had to repent by accepting the opposite. Like wagging his finger.
Don't you just love movies that constantly bang into your head the rules, and yet when you follow them, you get told off for doing it?
Because you don't have just enough faith dweebs, apparently.
Apparently there was a trend where there was there was a blindfold challenge when this film came out.
Yeah, and similar to planking, it escalated horribly. And that's not even counting how, again, disrespectful it is to actually blind people. This is why I kind of wanted Shira at some point to tell us her opinion about it, because I'm sure she will have a field day with this. See, she's leaving symbolically Tom behind, even though that's not how it works. No, A Quiet Place is another movie. I think Paramount owns it. Do we know if they're making a third movie of that? Forgot. And now, for some reason, the composers decide this is a Doom level. Like,
Oh, not that Doom.
Like, sure, if we kept the shotgun, maybe we should have tried, I guess. They might be invisible, but I don't think they're, invulnerable. That's one of the things about this movie. It provides these obstacles, these demons that involve, induce you to suicide, but at the same time, they're not really tangible enough for you to actually fight them. When they are in the car, in the sequence in the car, they move forward, they don't technically run them over or something. Ow. How many times is Sandra Bullock gonna trip and fall in this fucking movie?
They can't call the movie Trip Box, can they? Hey, I think this movie is trying to invent a new genre.
Which is
the trip flick.
Like, I get it. In some cases, what they were trying to do, the whole, if you were used to see and you cannot see, you're gonna be more prone to do that. But she did also when she was able to see. Yeah, we seem to have found the refuge that we were seeking. Come with me if you want to live. Rick is played by Pruitt Taylor Vince. Oh, it was in Jacob's Ladder.
Janet took a school for the blind. Oh.
Yep. In a world where seeing things actually induce you to suicide, the blind rules. I'm sure there was a Minority Report joke that involves something like this. In case of IRL, Vince has nystagmus, which is a medical condition about the involuntary movement of the eye. I think Shirai also has it. But I don't know if he's actually blind or not. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time Hollywood, portrays people with disability from, non-disabled.
I thought they were making that for the blind thing as like a weird pun joke.
No. I mean, to be fair, if this is still a Netflix production and everything, were you really surprised about this being the payoff?
Yes.
So yeah, this is technically a safe haven. The birds actually alert when the demons arrive, the entire place is covered up, and is self-sustained with food.
Oh, God,
Also, those were
birds.
CGI birds. You couldn't get the actual parrot for this scene? Fucking lazy.
But we blew our money on John Malkovich.
Alright, here's the payoff of the names. Yeah, the doctor from the beginning actually survived.
Nice, I guess.
Yeah, her face says it all. That's not what her mother wanted her to be called. Jesus, fucking insensitive.
So you give her a better sounding name than him.
Not just that, even for naming. Like, she named her after the mother, which also the same name, but names the boy after, the man she has been loving for the past 5 years. Like, I know that it's kind of a custom to potentially name grandchildren, like with the grandparent name. Is very common here in Europe at the very least. I don't know if it's also in America or not. But this feels odd and even more gnarly than just calling them girl and boy. Like, to the last, everyone who wrote this, either the original book or the screenplay for this movie, this is stupid. It's just stupid.
Mm-hmm. So, I have a question. Why couldn't the names Olympia and Tom have been used from the get-go?
I don't know. I do not know, Pedro.
Like, this
it's
is
not, at least it doesn't cause conflict. It doesn't really,
yeah, there's literally no reason for it. And if
it makes people talk, I guess. And yeah, that's how it ends. No post-credit scene, so the kids will not be invited to the Tall Girl initiative, I guess. But Netflix has tried to franchise these recently. This very year, 2023, we're recording this, a spin-off called Bird Box Barcelona actually has happened. To be fair, the reports said that Europe was one of the first continents hit by whatever this thing is. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know if it's better or worse on the same level. Also, Salvatore Totino, okay? But maybe we'll have to see that in the future. But for the time being, final thoughts. Lives.
Oh, shit.
I'm curious, compared to other Netflix exclusive movies that you've seen, like Tall Girl, where do you think this scales, like better, worse, on the same level for different reasons?
It's more fun to take the piss out of.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really the best I can give it. The film constantly, there's all sorts of stuff going on. There's the stupid plot with the names, the kids. There's them seemingly forgetting how the rules of their own universe work, like leaving bright lights on, like bright window lights on and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just dumb. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to mock at least. I'll give it that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really the best I can say. It's just really silly.
You mentioned in the past that you're not particularly fond of the composers of this. What do you think their score in this is? And you mentioned about the fact that they were kind of treated poorly, in post-processing.
I would feel sorry for them a bit more, but from what I can tell, the score didn't sound very good anyway. So, that's the thing though. Whenever people complain like, "Oh no, they didn't put my thing in right," and then their product was shit anyway, I'm like, "No, you just come off like a knob."
Like I said, Weaves, in the past, I think the better is also thanks for the title again. I think the best discourse of this is the fact that for this kind of complaint, like I said, if they at least put the original in, if it's still bad, no matter what, at least put it in a way so that the original, creator can be blamed, and not, a third party that thought better,
Yeah, I know. I mean, again, I'm not exactly on the best of terms of their music in the first place, so I'm naturally going to come from a bit of a place of, well, why didn't you compose the score better then? But, yeah, anything else?
About the acting, like John Malkovich and Billy Wong.
Well, I mean, the acting for the most part was fine. It's just, Malkovich was being John Malkovich at this point. Weird line deliveries. Weird facial expressions half the time.
Yeah.
Like when he looked at Sandra Bullock, like he was looking at like mouth agape, like.
The surprise face.
Yeah. I think that's about it, really. It's just one of those. It's another dumb, generic Netflix movie. At least it's fun to mock for the most part, so that gives it a bit of an edge over most of their other original movies.
All right then, Pedro.
This was silly as fuck. It feels a lot like an M. Night Shyamalan movie, except not. But yeah, it has a lot of the same kind of weird writing decisions that he usually has in his movies that make no goddamn sense, like the boy-girl thing. And as a result, because of how silly and stupidly written the movie is, it's impossible to take it seriously. Outside of that, the concept has been done. Like this entire concept has been done, like Theo said, multiple times, and this thing is kind of oversaturated. So, like, even in conceptually speaking, it's not particularly interesting. It just comes across as a generic post-apocalyptic type movie, and like I said, it's even on that front, it's hard to take it seriously because of the piss poor execution. There's not much more to say. Like, I really, it's one of those things where I guess I get the feeling, after Gravity, Sandra doesn't seem like she has much more to do at this point. So
I'm actually curious, Pedro. Between The Happening and this, what do you think is still the sillier?
Oh no, I'll still take The Happening is still sillier because at least the characters are not trying to run away from wind.
I mean, it's kind of similar. You're just being told that there's something else in the wind, and it's not planned. So, but roughly the mechanic is what happens towards the end.
I guess, yeah.
But I get what you mean.
That being said, there's another thing that The Happening has over this too: Mark Wahlberg's performance.
Yeah.
Because Sandra Bullock was at the very least trying and delivering a pretty fine performance for what she's given, right? Whereas Mark Wahlberg has seemed like he has been possessed by someone else when acting in that movie. So yeah, not good. It was silly as fuck. Go on.
All right, then I'll conclude. Again, to me, it's more wasted potential than anything because we've seen these this post-apocalyptic set in the North America ever since, the road. I keep stressing this out, especially about the whole single parents has to understand how to be great with children. And like, yes, we get it. You want to reinforce how great to be a parent it is. We have different type of stories now. But the combination of elements kind of ruins it. The stupid line deliveries of some characters like John Malkovich, how the rules get broken on a practical level, the when you get to see from the perspective of blindfolded, you see traces of light and fake figures, which means the characters will technically be able to see demons. Speaking of which, on one hand, I kind of like the idea about the audience not being able to see what the creatures look like. It would have potentially wasted CGI. It would have looked bad potentially. It could have been even make the product even worse. And again, it gives a bit of minimalism of your imagination is what makes this creature more terrifying. Sure, we get a snippet of what Gary was drawing on his book note, but. That's kind of more of an abstraction than anything. But I don't know. On the other hand, a part of me wishes we could have seen. I think what Paranormal Activity 4 did it by having, in some sequences, the ghost being able to be viewed thanks to the Kinect. Yes, really. Would have been a good compromise, something similar to that front. But again, I cannot complain too much of what they did, especially knowing about the fact that the practical stuff that they were developing was not really good. So, like I said, I haven't seen Barcelona yet, so we'll have to see if that one reveals the creature's design or not. Probably not, otherwise people would have talked more about it more, but who knows. The music is also inconsistent at times. I don't mind it too much. And like I said in the past, I'm not, particularly against, the 9 Inch Nails. I've listened also to some of their songs in the past too. But here, there are pieces where it's just, garbled noise, and I don't understand why. Like it really feels like you're trying to convey the tense of the scene by being super distorted, but it just doesn't work for what they want to do. Not to mention. Okay, to be fair, at least the movie does not embody, divulge into jump scares. I guess I would have to be grateful for that. But at moments, it feels like they were supposed to be, like where the music interrupts a bit. I don't know. It's the combination of these micro elements combined with what we said before about stuff like the fucking children not having proper names. It's still so stupid, until the very end. Or I cannot speak for, the whole thing about blind people are automatically safe and everything. That's basically your twist towards the end. We will have to ask Shiri about it if she has ever seen this movie, or otherwise we'll drag her in for generations in the far future. Who knows? But for the time being, I guess that's kind of it. Not much more to dwell on. So tune in eventually when we'll cover the spin-off prequel, because it's roughly happening around the same time, which is called Bird Box Barcelona. See ya.
Yep.